The first step in painting the ornament is actually cleaning it. I want to wash it with soap and water. Now you may find this kind of strange, but water won't damage the ornament, it won't twist it, it won't warp it. The reason why it won't do that is the stock is 3/8 of an inch thick. If the ornament was carved out of anything thinner, then I wouldn't recommend this step. I would go directly to painting it. Let me show you how I do it. All I do is wet the bar of soap, wet my toothbrush, scrub some soap into the brush, scrub the ornament, rinse it off. I'll do it one more time. After I pat it dry, I'm going to lay it on a flat surface and let it dry overnight. Now that the ornament is dry, we can start painting it. Let's see. Look at Roger's ornament for a second. Do you notice that the way Roger painted his, you can still see the wood grain going through the ornament? That's the same effect that I would like to do. And the way he did it is by watering down his paints to treat it more like a stain. Let me show you how to do it. I'm going to paint the body and the face first. So I got to decide on the color white that I like to use. There's so many different shades out there. Here are two examples. This is a titanium white, and this is called a warm white. Look at the difference. I'm going to stick with this guy. So put this one away for now. Next, I'm going to need some kind of painting tray to mix the paint and the water together. Roger taught me this tip a while back. He uses a plastic egg container. You can also use a glass baby food jar or a plastic bathroom drinking cup. You can also use something like this you get at a fast food restaurant. We also need a brush designed for acrylic paints. This one is a synthetic acrylic number 2 flame tipped brush. It's just easier to get around corners and everything. So once you get all this stuff gathered, we can get started. All I did was put 3 or 4 drops of paint into this tray. I filled the tray up with water, and now I'm mixing it. I've been mixing it for about 30 seconds now. I think that's good enough. Let's test it out. I'm going to take a newspaper or some kind of black and white book or magazine. I'm going to test it out. Paint right over it. Okay, I should see a tint of white onto this paper, and I don't. It's all water. So that's telling me that I didn't put enough of paint into this tray. So I'm going to put a couple more drops of paint, mix it up, and we're going to try again. Let's try again. Big difference. I hope you can tell. There's a white tint now on this paper. I can still read what's on these black bars, but now the black bars have a white tint to it. That's what we're looking for. Now we can start painting the ornament. The great thing about these flame-tipped brushes is it's very easy to get into tight corners. And if you accidentally get some paint on the scarf or other areas that you don't want to paint with white, no big deal. Just go back with the carving tools and just carve it off. Now that I finished the body and the face, I'm going to move on to the hat area. I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to water it down just like we did with the body. I'm going to test it out, and then I'm going to apply the paint to those areas. But first I have to wash my paintbrush. I'm just going to use regular soap and water and pat it dry. I decided to make the hat and the scarf a yellow and a baby blue. So I don't know if you noticed, but I actually carved off the white that I painted on the pom-pom because I decided to paint this blue instead. And with the scarf, I took my yellow paint and right like halfway down the scarf I just painted it yellow, and then I'm going to go over it with a baby blue to have a faded effect. You'll see what I mean next step. Now with the scarf, all I'm going to do is take the blue and paint it right over the yellow. And it blends right in. Do it again. To paint the eyes and the nose, all I did was put some black paint on a scrap piece of paper. I took a 1/8 of an inch diameter wood dowel. I dip it in, and then I just lightly go onto the project like that. Now for the little white dots in the corner of the eyes, I do the same thing, but this time I use a toothpick. Take some white paint. I don't water this down. I just take the white paint right from the jar. I dip the toothpick in there, and then at a 1 o'clock position, right about there, I tap it right onto the eye. Again, I do the other side. 1 o'clock position. There you go. Now to paint the rosy cheeks, what I do is I pick up a little bit of red paint from my palette. I remove the majority of it by painting a scrap piece of wood. When I have very little paint left on the brush, I go to my ornament and I just tap the right and left side of the snowman's mouth. Now I feel that the red went on a little too strong, so I'm going back to my watered down white paint, the same mixture that we used for the body and the face, and I'm just gonna lightly go over the rosy cheeks. I'm much happier with this. Now let me show you how to make a checkered scarf. All you do is you determine where the center line is going to be along this part of the scarf as well as here. The way you do that is I would recommend a transparent ruler, and at various points of the scarf make a note where the center line is. Center's here, it's here. Here's another one. Here's another one. And there's the other one. Same thing around this part. Here's the center line, and here's the center point. Next you connect it, connect the dots. Next, sketch in the pattern. Since the scarf is wrapping around the body, you should change the angles of some of these lines so it appears that the scarf is wrapping around the snowman. So you notice Roger's blueprint, some of these lines are angled differently, so it appears that it's wrapped around. Here's another one. Here's another one. There you go. Next, holding your knife 90 degrees to the wood, make a stop cut along all these pencil lines. By making a stop cut, what you're doing is actually making a microscopic little ditch in the wood, so when you paint it, the watered down paints will less likely flow into the next part of the scarf and ruin the next color over. Look at Roger's scarf. The paint pretty much stayed in its assigned area. It's because he made stop cuts, so the paint flowed into that little stop cut and not past it. After you make these stop cuts along all the pencil lines, you can either take an eraser and erase the pencil marks, or take some soap and water like we did earlier and wash it clean. If you do that, you may have to carefully go over the stop cuts again, because when the wood dries, it may close up some of the stop cuts. So if that happens, you have to carefully go over the lines again. If you decide to display this ornament on a tree or on a wall, you're going to need to attach some kind of hook or string to this ornament. Here are some recommendations. You can use this little handheld drill and carefully drill a little hole in the center of the cap, right around here, and then attach a piece of string. Or you can use some kind of little loop that I found at an arts and crafts store. What I did with this guy is I cut it down to size. I would say about 3/8 in length. Then I took a needle nose pliers. I positioned it in the center of the cap and gently inserted it. Then threaded a piece of string through the loop. There you go. Now let's talk about signing your work. Like my previous videos, I'm going to stick with the wood burning unit with a writing tip attachment. I took a pencil and I lightly wrote out what I want to wood burn on the back of the ornament. Since I didn't design this ornament, I only carved it, this is what I wrote. Made by the hand of, and then I signed my name. Then I also wrote a Roger Bean design 2012. Taking a drafting eraser, erase the pencil marks. Last but not least, I'm going to take the ornament outside with a can of clear finish that I bought at a local arts and crafts store. I'm going to follow the directions very carefully on the can. Apply 2 very light coats on the front as well as the back. Let it dry. Hang it up for display and enjoy the holidays.